Hi, my name is Arthur Hull, and I've been around a long time. So I'm considered somewhat as an elder in my community. Some people call me the father of the facilitated drum circle movement. In actuality, I'm more like a midwife, pioneer, not really a father. Here's the deal, okay? When a group of people come together and play drums and percussion, they create in that group a vibration, not just in the moment music, but a kinesthetic vibration that goes to the places inside themselves that need it the most. Like water seeking its own level, like the river flows into the ocean. That vibration will bypass any circuitry or circumvent any circuitry that's not working and go to the ones that are. It doesn't matter if it's a kinesthetic body or if it's emotional or if it's intellectual, mental. It doesn't matter. Drumming does that. It creates in those people a release of some sort of emotional stress, physical stress, mental stress. Doesn't matter. So, story. There's so many. I'll pick that one. Hold it. Input. I'm in Taipei, okay, Republic of China. I've done a training there. The training's over with. The lady, one of the people who is in the training says, "Come to my school. Come to my school and entertain my children. They are mentally challenged." And I said, "I'd be glad to come to your school. Tell me how many children you have, and so I can gather up all the drums I need to facilitate that group of children." And she goes, No, I'm sorry. You don't understand. They're mentally challenged. They can't play. They can't play. They can't pay attention very long at all. We expect you to entertain them for maybe 10 minutes. You come, bring your drum. And I said, "I'll be glad to come to your school, and I'd be glad to entertain your children under the condition that you allow me to bring all the drums I need to play with them and so that they can play with me." And I went, "Okay, but I am apologizing ahead of time for the success you're not going to have." In Asia culture, they're very circumspect about all of this stuff. And so on the drive over there, with all of the equipment in the van, her and her boss kept on apologizing ahead of time for the disappointment that I was about to receive, so on and so forth. So I get there, and there are 12, 14 children, ages from 5 to 12. Each one of them has a caretaker. They're sitting in a circle. I asked them to place them in a circle, and I put all the instruments in the middle of the circle. Okay? I wasn't going to do a kids program with mentally challenged children. Okay? I did play the drum and demonstrate and just get the boom, 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 and get those nice, funny little animal sounds out of it, and it got their attention. Except for one little lady, the only one we lost. She ran away. She, "Ah!" No, they went after her, took care of her. But all the rest of the kids were going, "Ooh, what's this?" And I would play with the kids like I'd play with any other kid, and I would almost hand them an instrument, not quite, and almost, and then they'd grab it out of my hand. And we began to do simple little calls and response. I go, bam, 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 bam. And some of them would go bam, 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 and some of them would go bam, bam, bam. It doesn't matter. Okay, it was not a program. Okay, and slowly but surely, the group started doing calls and responses. Okay, and just with that alone, we started playing patterns and drumming together because we had hand percussion, we had drums with mallets for the kids, and stuff like that. And basically, 10 minutes turned into 20 minutes, 20 minutes turned into 40 minutes. And after 40 minutes, I read the kids' energy, and they were done. And they had a wonderful time. And we did a drum circle, limited as it was, we all ended up playing rhythms together as a group. Not I teach you a rhythm and you play that rhythm. It's like 1, 2, let's all play, and they understood that. They understood volume up and volume down, and they understood when to stop. And they loved call and response. And so I would offer someone to do a call, and the other kids knew to wait, okay, so they could respond. And I knew I was successful because when I looked up at the caretakers standing around the chair at the end, because what we did is we got quieter and quieter and quieter because I didn't want to hand those kids over all excited to their caretakers. So we just got quieter and quieter and quieter. We all stopped, and I gently removed all the drums from the kids, and we all took a big breath together. And I was wondering to myself, yep, felt good. I wonder how I did. And I looked up at the caretakers, each one standing behind the children. Every single one of them were crying. So I knew I did just fine. Now, it really wasn't me. It was that vibration. My job is to read where the vibration goes, what it does, how they respond, when they're connected, when they're disconnected, and when they're done. That's my job. I facilitate. There is nothing that I teach in my drumming facilitation, drum circle facilitation, to the school teachers, music teachers, kids at risk counselors, corrections officers, psychotherapists, and troublemakers, the drummers. That hasn't already existed, okay? All these tools that you see are basic universal tools that have been around since before written knowledge, okay? It's like, no, I am not the father of the drum circle. God, that was around before we had African rhythms, per se. And there's a lot of, Afro sensibility happening at the moment because it's like, djembe, yay! But in actuality, I travel all around the world all the time. I'll be in Australia Tuesday, okay? And wherever I go, I see these universal principles being applied, universal principles of making music together, applied in many, many different kinds of situations. So it's not just African. It's not just Japanese taiko drumming. It's not just gamelan music from Bali. It is everything. Rhythm is the foundational, universal language. Everyone understands it. All I have to do is learn how to say, 1, 2, let's all play in the proper language. Ich, ni, hajime masho. And all I have to do is learn how to say, continue to play. Those are the only 2 things I have to learn how to say in the language of the culture. Everything else, everyone knows. It's in the body language, and it's already built in those universal principles that make a drum circle work. Call and response is not African, but you can trace it right back to Africa. But you can also trace it back to India, back to Russia, back to China, back to Vietnam, back to any Aboriginal culture that started with making music and dance and song using percussion as their base. And so call and response, one of the basic tools. You do it with kids, you do it with adults, everybody knows what it is, okay? Volume up, volume down, another simple little tool that helps people listen to each other. So it's a tool that a facilitator uses in relationship to how are we doing. You see, a drum circle facilitator, from my point of view, okay, is not an entertainer. Okay, someone that stands in the middle of the circle and tells everybody what to do is a facilitator, not a facilitator. The idea is to serve that group's true intention, to make that connection. And then through that connection, the music will be made. Yes, if you have the knowledge of what makes a drum circle work, you can pass that knowledge on to the group without being a teacher. I call it teaching without teaching. And you create musical situations that are experiential. And by doing that, the people learn. An example. All the low drums continue to play, and all the big with the boom booms keep going. Everyone else, ready, stop. There's the low drums. Some people, first time in their circle, never played before, okay? And they're going, blah, 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 and they're hitting everything around themselves, not necessarily connecting, because it's new to them and they're connecting with their drum, and they go, oh my gosh, look at that. And so metaphorically, I say, all around the world, they call these drums the mother drum or the grandmother drum. This is the heartbeat of your drum circle community. If you get rhythmically lost, just stop playing and listen for your grandmother. 1, 2, let's all play. And since the grandmother drums are already playing, I just entrain them. And usually I wait for what we call transition points in the music. When things are getting a little bit shaky, like in a hippie thunder drummer circle, if it just gets shaky, it gets shakier and shakier, and then it all falls apart. We call it, professionally, we call it a train wreck. Okay? Well, if these people really are tired of this rhythm and they're ready to bring it to a completion, they don't know how to do it by committee. So I'm the facilitator, and I will help facilitate that. And I'll bring it to a successful closing, and we all go, but sometimes they're tired of the rhythm, but they're not tired. And so I'll step in and help them transition into another rhythm, okay? Or maybe there's a problem in the circle and it needs to be fixed. And there's thousands of kinds of problems, and there's thousands of ways to fix it without making that person or that group that needs fixing wrong. Those are the only 3 reasons why I am in that circle. My belief is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so you're asking about call and response. It's one of those basic tools that have been around for centuries upon eons upon centuries. A simple tool used in musical situations, regardless if the only instruments are pitched drums, it's still music. Okay, and these tools are the tools that I've learned from my master teachers. Okay, thank you, Baba, and so many others I could name, to apply to making music and rhythm that already lives within inside of ourselves, accessible to ourselves. What is my goal? To help birth. Bottom line, it doesn't matter who you are and what your talent is. Where's your bliss? What is it that's drawing you to that place that is the essence of your happiness? What is it? Where are you the superstar? Where is it that your heart is pulling you to? What service can you give to the community by sharing that bliss? When that happens, you don't have to study. You don't have to go and try to study. You go there. You go there and you do what you need to do to get to where you need to get, to pay your dues, to become so good at what it is that you do that the rest of the community will serve you to serve it. So yeah, follow your bliss. Follow it. Study it. Do it. Live it. Be it. Be the master of that bliss. And then share your spirit. And you will be a valuable asset. I don't care if it's kazoo playing. You will be a valuable asset to your community. And your community will come running to your doorstep to ask you to share your bliss with them.